The theme for day two of the Republican National Convention was Make America Safe once again, but all eyes were on the speeches at the end of the day as a cast of characters who themselves were once presidential candidates came back to give Donald Trump their ringing endorsement. Vivek Ramaswamy, the entrepreneur, has been by Donald Trump's side ever since he dropped out of the race. All focus really was on Nikki Haley, who had arguably been Trump's biggest competition for the Republican nomination. Even after she dropped out of the race, she still got a significant chunk of the vote share during the presidential primaries. Well, she came onto the stage at Donald Trump's behest and said, "Let me make one thing absolutely clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period." That got a massive ovation in the auditorium just behind me. She then spoke to the people who had voted for her and said that just because you don't agree with Donald Trump 100% of the time doesn't mean that you can't vote for him. A lot of her audience had been never-Trumpers, or people who'd been put off by some of Donald Trump's actions in the final days of his presidency. She also touched on foreign policy, talking about the war in Ukraine. She said Putin didn't attack Ukraine because he knew Donald Trump was tough, repeating a line that Donald Trump himself has also said. But she did hit one note that stood at odds with what Donald Trump has said in the past. She said, "We must not only be a unified party, we must also expand our party." That only received light applause in the auditorium. She said, "We are so much better when we are bigger." That then hitting on what she said during the campaign, that Donald Trump was keeping the tent of the Republican Party small and that she needed to include more people in it to get it a bigger vote share at the end of the day. She was then followed by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. A lot of people have seen him as the potential successor to Donald Trump. Whether that is now the case, given that J.D. Vance is now the vice presidential nominee, remains to be seen. But he didn't really mention Trump too much in his speech, instead focusing his attacks on Joe Biden and also the Democrats as well. The two biggest speeches, however, of the week still to come. Wednesday, we are waiting for J.D. Vance to give his vice presidential speech, and then on Thursday is the big one as we listen for Donald Trump's keynote speech to close out the convention late in the evening.